Hi, welcome to Cooking with SallyJ. It's February 8th. It's 5:45 at night, and all I want to do is get in my pajamas. But my husband is gone for the evening, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to make him a pecan pie for our anniversary, which is tomorrow. So here we go. To make your pie crusts, which I have another video on that, but I guess I'm just going to do it here too. You need flour and Crisco, salt, and ice cold water. And then for the pecan pie filling, you're going to need Caro syrup, eggs, sugar, and pecans. Now I always was scared to death to make this pie because everybody told me it was touchy and blah blah blah. The first time I made it, it came out good and it was easy, so I thought I'd share it with you tonight. So the back of your Crisco can tells you 2 cups of flour. I'm using 3 because I like to have a little extra dough to play with, so it works better that way. So 3 cups of flour. So because of that, I am putting in an extra 1/4 cup of Crisco. So you're going to want 1 cup of Crisco for your pie crust. Okay. Alrighty, so there's that. I'm sitting here really a little bit on my nerves because Kyle, a young man that's staying with us, is sitting in the other room listening half to me and half to the news. It's driving me a little crazy. But it'll be fine. Okay, then you're going to need, I don't know how much salt really. It says a teaspoon. I really just, I just do barely a scant of a teaspoon. I don't like it too salty. Okay, so we got that all, and you're going to mix it good with your fork. You don't want the water in it yet because you want it like pea-like condition, like little tiny peas. Now, if you have a pastry round thingy, and I thought I had one. Every time I think I have one, I don't know where it is when I want it. So I always use a fork. It works. It might take a little bit longer, but it's what I've always done. I just get in it with my hands and help work the flour through and the Crisco through with my hands. Sometimes that's even quicker. Okay, so there's the consistency of your, right before you put the water in. Now it says 3 to 4 tablespoons of cold water. I doubled that because, and I'm not going to put it all in, but I doubled it just in case I needed it because where I'm using more flour. it makes it a little more moist. I just chose not to do that tonight. But if you chose to do it, it would be 1 egg in a I don't know if it's a tablespoon or a teaspoon of vinegar. I think it's a teaspoon of vinegar. This is a little bit tough tonight. Wonder why. I wonder why. Well, it's okay. I only need a bottom half, so as long as I have enough to roll out, I don't need a top half. So I have one of these Pampered Chef round mats that I like to roll my dough, my pastry on. Use whatever works for you. Some people use a towel. I like it. And of course you need a rolling pin, which I guess I wasn't real as prepared as I thought I was going to be. Here's hoping I have enough flour just to coat my pan a little bit. You don't want a lot of flour on your mat. I don't even have my pie plate out. Oh well, we'll roll this out and then I'll get my pie plate. Thought I had everything together. Eggs are going to make a noise tonight. That's lovely. Okay, so the reason I use an egg and vinegar is it makes it easier to work with. So I'm not real happy with this dough tonight, but we're using it because I'm not wasting what I've already done. And like I said, if I had to do a top crust, there's no way I would use this. And it won't taste bad. It's just harder to work with, and I gotta play with it more in the dish. Some of you are probably sitting there wondering how many years it's been. It will be 41 years tomorrow, which is the 9th. I think we got married at 1 in the afternoon, if I remember right. My cupboards are so messy. Like, it's time to spring clean. People always say, you always talk about spring cleaning, but I'm telling you, if I could take a pressure washer to my house right now, I'd be happy. So, probably the first week of March, we'll be getting at that. Because when spring comes, I don't want to be stuck in my house. Alright, so, if you watch any other video that I made with pie crust, this is how I roll it up on my rolling pin. My sister-in-law, I watched her make pie crust one day and saw that, and I was like, oh, that would be easy, because I used to, it'd be on the mat, then I put the pie plate on top of that, and then try to flip it over, and it worked, but there was flour everywhere on me, and it was a very French way to do something. Which I can say that, I'm French, and I'm proud of it. It's just sometimes we tend to be a little backward about stuff. Okay, so now you're just going to work with your crust and make sure it's nice all the way around. got it pressed in good, you just want to take your 2 fingers and then your thumb and just press like that, and that'll make you a nice little edge. If you got more dough than you really need, you can either scrape it off or just have a thick edge. And again, I don't claim to be professional. I cook for my family and they like it, so you know, it's not going to be perfect. Okay, so once your crust is made, if you're not topping your pie crust like you would with apple pie or a cherry pie or something, if it's like a like this pecan pie, it needs to have some air coming up in through it, or the shell is going to bubble. So you're just going to take a fork, which I don't have. And you're just going to jab it. Just go around it and randomly jab holes into it. And do the same onto the sides. Okay, it doesn't need to be a ton. I'm going to bring it up closer for you to see. Ouch. Oh, that hurts. Okay. So you need fork holes in it. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to make our filling. I bet I need 2 tablespoons of butter, which I don't have ready. So let me check. I use the recipe on the back of the Caro syrup. That's what works for me. I need 2 tablespoons of melted butter, so we're going to do that. So I got my 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and we're going to get started on the filling, which everybody thinks is difficult, and it's really not. Okay. Let's see. So they mentioned the Caro syrup first, but since I've got my cup full of sugar, I'm going to do the sugar first. So you're going to need the cup of sugar, and then we're going to need a cup of Caro. So this is a very sweet dessert, and I don't really, I guess I'm not a real pie fan on most things, but I'm definitely not a big fan of this one. But he likes it. So I didn't get real romantic this year, because every time I think I'll go to town and look to find something for him, I'm like, oh, I really just don't want to put a mask on my face, and I talk myself right out of going to town over it. Now today I did go to the Dollar General and find a card for him, and just looked around in there for a little while, and it was good to get out, but that's only like walking distance from my house, so yeah, so it's just made a difference on some things. Okay, and we're going to need 3 eggs. Now, if you want to slightly beat them first, go ahead, but your beater is going to do a good job of beating them up. Okay? And 2 tablespoons of butter. I just want to make sure there's no salt or anything in it. Vanilla. We need a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, so then you're going to just take your electric mixer and you're going to beat that until it's almost foamy. You do not want your pecans in that yet. Okay? get good around the bottom. No. The beater came out. Must have hit the wrong button. Okay, so that's good and foamy, if you can see. And now all you're going to do is you're going to put your pecans in, and you're just going to slightly stir them, fold them in. You don't want to beat them in. That is the last thing you want to do. They'll spread out into the dish the way they're supposed to. Okay. Put this down because I want to get into my oven here in a minute. Bring my pie crust over. Now the 2 tablespoons of margarine, it was about 15 seconds in the microwave. Okay. So now we're just going to pour that right into the pie crust, okay? And you want to get everything that you can out of the bowl. And you're going to put it right in to a preheated 350-degree oven in the middle of the oven, okay? That is going to bake for 50 to 60 minutes, I believe. Let me just make sure. Yep, 60 to 70 minutes. So, that's 5 after 7. I still might get to bed by 8 o'clock. We'll be back. So, the pie is actually done a little bit earlier. So, depending on your oven, anywhere between 50 and 70 minutes. Mine's been about 50. So, we're ready to take her out, or it out. I know my rack's not right. Sorry about that, people. I thought I was ready. No, yeah, I was ready. Okay. Now, one thing I didn't do, there's a lot of things that I'm going to tell you to do different, okay? Is I should have put some tin foil on my crust so that it wouldn't shrink down. And that's the other reason why the egg and vinegar is a good thing to do, because it is moister. So if you're gonna make a pie, go back in my videos Cooking with SallyJ and find the one that has the vinegar and egg in it, because that is a better pie crust. This is fine, and actually the color is pretty good, if you can see it. It's just my pie crust shrunk, and that's what happens, you know. The egg and vinegar would have been better. But other than that, this is your pecan pie, and I have my card here, which I'm gonna let this cool for a little bit and then go hide it. And when I get up tomorrow, because I get up way earlier than he gets up, and I'll just set it out for him. I told you earlier I didn't sound all that excited that it was 41 years, but I'll tell you, the first day I saw him on the Institute steps of Faith School of Theology, I knew I was going to marry him. Had no clue who he was. And I'm so thankful that God gave him to me as a best friend, but as a husband and my pastor, and he is such a gift, and there are times that I do not treat him right, and I apologize to the Lord for it, you know, but when we have something special, and when we have a good gift, we need to treat them right, and he knows that I love him dearly. So, I don't know who needed that little spiel, but I just want to tell you that I love Bruce Blakeney with all my heart, and I know he will enjoy this pecan pie. So I hope you try it, but please do it with the other crust. It would work out much better. All like this episode with Cooking with Sally J, go ahead and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. Share it with those that you think that might enjoy it. You can also find me on Cooking with Sally J's Facebook page, where I also have the recipe and the video also. So I hope you have a good evening, and God bless you really good.